We are counting down the 5 most devastating corporate collapses to hit America in 2025. From retail icons swallowed by debt to industry giants that left entire communities jobless, this list traces the economic storm that has wiped out savings, shuttered stores, and sent shockwaves through the middle class. Which bankruptcy unleashed the worst crisis? Let us begin, starting with number 5. On August 14, 2025, the battered retail sector took another blow when Claire's Stores Incorporated filed for bankruptcy, weighed down by nearly $1.9 billion in debt. The legacy of a private equity buyout left the company with a debt load that never fit its business. As inflation squeezed family budgets, teens, and young women, the heart of Claire's customer base simply stopped spending on jewelry and accessories. Mall traffic dropped to record lows, and with fewer shoppers, sales collapsed. The impact hit hardest at the entry level. Around 8,000 to 10,000 North American jobs vanished, most of them part-time roles held by teenagers and young adults. For many, Claire's was a first job, a place to earn spending money, help with family expenses, or build a resume. Now that first rung on the employment ladder is gone. Suppliers and local governments felt the shock too. A Midwest fulfillment partner lost $7 million in annual revenue. Hundreds of shopping centers and small towns across the country lost a steady stream of retail tax dollars, deepening the financial strain on communities already struggling to fill budget gaps. Forever 21's second bankruptcy in 6 years landed on March 16, 2025, when the fast fashion giant filed with nearly $2 billion in outstanding claims. The company's gamble on a strong holiday season backfired, leaving warehouses packed with unsold inventory just as apparel prices were tumbling. Global supply chains had recovered, but instead of relief, the market was flooded with cheaper imports. Shoppers, battered by inflation and squeezed by rising credit card rates, stopped buying even discounted clothes. Store closing sales swept through 354 locations, and over 9,200 jobs vanished in a matter of weeks. Most of these were hourly retail positions, young women and recent immigrants earning $16 to $18 an hour, often without benefits. In places like the Midwest and the South, where secondary malls had already lost anchor tenants, Forever 21's exit left entire shopping centers half empty, erasing millions in local tax revenue. A Texas fulfillment center that had invested in automation for Forever 21 lost $9 million in annual revenue overnight. Suppliers overseas absorbed canceled orders, but U.S. logistics firms had no such cushion. For thousands of workers, the bankruptcy was not just a corporate event. It was the sudden end of a paycheck, health insurance, and a sense of stability in communities with few other options. SunNova Energy International Inc. filed for bankruptcy on June 18, 2025, after carrying more than $1.1 billion in debt through a volatile period for the solar industry. The company's growth strategy had relied on floating rate loans, leaving it exposed when interest rates soared. Quarterly interest expenses jumped by as much as 50%, outpacing cash flow and pushing the business to the brink. At the same time, uncertainty around the federal solar investment tax credit made it nearly impossible to predict demand. Some states cut incentives without warning, and homeowners grew wary of taking on new financing for rooftop solar. Layoffs swept through the Sun Belt, with over 2,700 U.S. jobs lost, most of them installers, project managers, and call center staff in Texas, Florida, and Arizona. For many, these were good middle-class jobs. Electricians and roofers earning solid wages, now suddenly out of work. Regional subcontractors, many small businesses, lost 30 to 60% of their revenue overnight. Several filed for bankruptcy themselves, unable to survive the collapse of their largest client. SunNova's downfall is a warning that green sector jobs are not immune to economic storms. When policy changes and interest rates move against them, even industries built for the future can unravel quickly, leaving skilled workers and small businesses exposed to risks beyond their control. On June 22, 2025, Wolfspeed Incorporated filed for bankruptcy, sending shockwaves through the semiconductor industry. The company's $4.6 billion debt restructuring aimed to slash annual interest costs by 60%. But the deeper wound came from years of capital spending that collided with an unforgiving market. Wolfspeed had poured billions into new chip-making capacity during the post-pandemic boom, betting on endless demand for advanced semiconductors. Instead, global overcapacity flooded the market. Prices collapsed, and customers, especially in telecom and electric vehicles, began canceling orders. When refinancing deadlines arrived, Wolfspeed faced borrowing costs hundreds of basis points higher than before, making debt service impossible on shrinking revenues. The fallout cut deep into the technical middle class. Roughly 6,700 skilled jobs were at risk, including engineers, technicians, and operations staff in North Carolina, Arizona, and California. Many had built careers on the promise that high-tech manufacturing offered stability and upward mobility. Now, mid-career professionals faced layoffs, lost health insurance, and mortgage payments they could no longer afford. A key Arizona supplier lost $12 million in annual revenue overnight, forced to lay off dozens of workers and halt expansion plans. Wolfspeed's collapse shattered the idea that specialized skills and advanced degrees could shield families from the inflation rate leverage trap. For many, the future looked less secure than ever. Rite Aid's second bankruptcy in just 2 years landed on May 6, 2025, with a debt load of $4.3 billion and a plan to close 320 stores. This time, the collapse reached deep into rural America, erasing a lifeline for towns already struggling to keep basic services afloat. Nearly 11,000 jobs disappeared overnight: pharmacy techs, cashiers, and store managers, many of them the only breadwinners in their households. For families in Appalachia, the Rust Belt, and the rural South, the nearest pharmacy suddenly became a 40-minute drive, if there was one at all. Prescription refills turned into logistical nightmares, and parents found themselves rationing medicine for their children. The financial shock did not stop at lost paychecks. Counties that had depended on Rite Aid for property and sales tax revenue saw annual shortfalls of $1 to $5 million. School districts froze hiring, road repairs were shelved, and local clinics faced new waves of uninsured patients. Small drug wholesalers and delivery drivers lost contracts they had relied on for decades. For many towns, Rite Aid's closure did not just mean empty storefronts. It meant the start of a healthcare desert, with no easy fix in sight. The company's collapse stands as the year's harshest warning. When a community pharmacy vanishes, it leaves behind more than lost jobs. It leaves a hole in the fabric of daily life. Across all 5 crashes, one truth stands out: unchecked inflation and debt ripple straight to the middle class. Corporate collapse is not abstract. It is a warning for every American household.